My beloved brothers and sisters, true happiness begins when a person realizes that the ultimate source of peace and contentment is Allah alone. So often we look to people, situations, or material possessions to make us feel complete, only to find disappointment and emptiness. People will come into our lives and leave, circumstances will change, and possessions will be lost or fade away. If we tie our happiness to these temporary things, we set ourselves up for a life of constant frustration and dissatisfaction. The reality is that Allah is constant, unchanging, and His mercy is limitless. Understanding this truth is the first step toward learning how to be happy alone. When we focus on Allah, we begin to see life from a different perspective. Solitude no longer feels like loneliness. It becomes a chance to strengthen our relationship with Him. Every quiet moment becomes an opportunity to reflect, to pray, and to connect with our Creator. In these moments, we learn to pour our hearts out to Allah, to thank Him for the countless blessings that we often take for granted, and to seek His guidance in every matter. This connection fills the emptiness in our hearts in a way that no human being ever could. Moreover, finding contentment in Allah allows us to detach from the unrealistic expectations we place on others. When we rely on people to provide us with happiness, we often encounter disappointment because humans are inherently imperfect. Friends may let us down, family members may fail to understand us, and strangers may behave in ways we do not anticipate. But when our hearts are grounded in Allah, these external influences cannot shake our peace. We learn to accept people and situations as they are, without letting them determine our sense of worth or joy. Allah's presence becomes our anchor, giving us strength during trials and gratitude during ease. Through worship, reflection, and remembrance of Allah, we cultivate a heart that is content with the divine decree. Solitude then transforms into a source of growth, spiritual nourishment, and deep satisfaction. Even in moments of difficulty or isolation, a person who finds happiness in Allah can smile, knowing that nothing is wasted in His plan. They begin to see life not as a series of disappointments or lacks, but as a journey guided by infinite wisdom and mercy. In essence, the joy that comes from Allah is permanent, independent of others, and unaffected by the changing tides of this world. By placing our reliance on Him, we protect our hearts from unnecessary pain, elevate our inner peace, and discover that true happiness is not something to seek from the world. It is something to cultivate within ourselves through our connection with Allah. This understanding is the foundation of learning to be happy alone. For when Allah is enough, solitude becomes a blessing rather than a burden. Learning to enjoy your own company is one of the most important skills a person can develop. Yet it is often overlooked in today's world. Society encourages constant interaction, distraction, and dependence on others for entertainment and validation. But true contentment comes from being comfortable with yourself. When you spend time alone, you are given the opportunity to understand your thoughts, emotions, and desires in a deeper way. You begin to notice patterns in your behavior, recognize areas in need of improvement, and appreciate your own strengths and accomplishments. Solitude provides a unique space for reflection, allowing the heart to calm, the mind to focus, and the soul to connect with what truly matters. During these moments, you can engage in self-improvement, whether through reading beneficial knowledge, making dua, learning a new skill, or practicing patience and gratitude. Enjoying your own company does not mean withdrawing from society or becoming isolated. Rather, it means developing a strong inner life so that your happiness is not dependent on external factors. People who cannot be alone often feel restless, anxious, or insecure when they are not surrounded by others. They may constantly seek attention, approval, or companionship to fill a void that can only be filled from within. By contrast, those who learn to enjoy solitude cultivate independence, confidence, and resilience. They discover that their happiness can be created, nurtured, and maintained by their own choices and actions rather than by the behavior of others. Simple moments like watching the sunrise, listening to the quiet of the night, or reflecting on one's blessings become sources of joy and contentment. Solitude also enhances self-awareness and spiritual growth. When we are alone, we can sincerely evaluate our intentions, make amends for past mistakes, and plan for a better future without distraction or pressure. The mind becomes clear and the heart becomes receptive to the guidance and mercy of Allah. Furthermore, enjoying your own company teaches patience and tolerance for discomfort. Life is not always filled with people who understand us or situations that are ideal. By learning to be content alone, we strengthen our ability to face trials with composure, gratitude, and trust in Allah's wisdom. Ultimately, the ability to enjoy solitude is a sign of emotional and spiritual maturity. It frees a person from unnecessary dependence on others for happiness and peace, and it allows them to live a life rich in meaning, purpose, and self-discovery. Solitude becomes a source of empowerment rather than fear, a time for growth rather than emptiness, and a space for finding true happiness that no one can take away. By embracing and enjoying your own company, you build a life that is peaceful, balanced, and independent, where joy comes from within rather than from the approval or presence of others. Detaching your happiness from the actions, opinions, or approval of others is one of the most liberating steps a person can take in life. So often, people unknowingly hand over the keys to their peace of mind to others, expecting friends, family, or colleagues to act in a way that keeps them happy. When these expectations are not met, disappointment, frustration, and sadness follow. The reality is that human beings are imperfect, and it is impossible for anyone to fulfill all our emotional needs or to behave exactly as we hope. By tying our sense of well-being to others, we give them power over our emotions, and this creates a fragile and unstable foundation for happiness. True contentment comes from understanding that we have control only over ourselves, our thoughts, our actions, and our responses to the world around us. We cannot control the behavior of others, but we can choose how we perceive and react to it. Learning to celebrate your achievements, forgive yourself for mistakes, and appreciate the blessings you already possess shifts the focus inward. Instead of constantly seeking validation from others, you begin to derive satisfaction from your own efforts, from striving to be a better person, and from living a life in accordance with your values. Detachment does not mean becoming indifferent or uncaring. Rather, it means setting healthy boundaries and protecting your peace. It means recognizing that the actions of others are beyond your control and that your happiness should not be held hostage to their choice. This mindset fosters resilience, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with stability and confidence. Moreover, detaching your happiness from external approval deepens your spiritual connection. When you stop looking for recognition from people, you can redirect your energy towards seeking Allah's pleasure, which is permanent, perfect, and unchanging. The heart finds serenity in knowing that the ultimate acknowledgement comes from Him alone, not from fleeting human opinions. Over time, this perspective transforms your interactions with the world. You engage with people from a place of love and respect, not neediness or dependence. You give without expecting in return, help without being resentful, and smile without seeking approval. Your relationships become healthier and your inner peace grows stronger. Detachment also cultivates gratitude and mindfulness. When your contentment is not tied to others, you learn to appreciate life's small blessings, the warmth of the sun, the quiet of a night, the comfort of a safe home. Happiness becomes something you generate, not something you wait for, and joy becomes sustainable, independent of circumstances. By making your happiness internal rather than external, you free yourself from disappointment, emotional manipulation, and unnecessary stress. You build a life where peace is constant, resilience is natural, and joy is your own, unshaken by the imperfections of the world around you. In essence, detaching your happiness from others is a journey towards self-mastery, emotional freedom, and lasting content.